Hello, everyone. Welcome back after the Easter break to this April and May session, our webinar, hosting members of ours who are also very well-known school owners, Miss Fenia Kouvara and Miss Sofia Taiganidou. It is always great to present friends and colleagues one knows well, but for me it is a great opportunity to celebrate what TESOL and what PALSO have been doing for years, making people more aware of the importance of training and continuous professional development. And those two colleagues, Fenia and Sofia, have embodied this, despite the fact that they are both very well-known school owners and they could rest on their laurels and say, well, we know things. We're fine with our knowledge. They've been going on and they're, pushing boundaries and they try to learn more. So today they're going to talk to us about classrooms of the future. Sofia and Fenia and Sofia, thank you so much for giving up the last Sunday of your holidays to train us. So the floor is yours.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you. Thank you. So guys, have you all got a piece of paper and a pen in front of you? I would like to ask you to write down a couple of things that you expect or hope to hear from us. Answer expect to have to get in this 45-minute session. You don't have to share it with us yet. Keep it as a secret till the end of the session. Okay?
Did you hear well? Because there was some noise interruption, I think.
Yes, have you heard my invitation?
We're going to write down what we expect to hear, but if we want to share it, we can. If we don't want to share it, we don't share it. We keep it until the end.
Yes, please. Good, good. Okay.
So let's start. We would like you to watch this video about the future of education first.
The futures of humanity and our living planet are at risk. We are at a turning point. Urgent action is needed to change course and transform the future. Everyone alive today has a tremendous obligation to future generations to ensure that their world is one of human rights, abundance, and not scarcity. Education is one of the key ways we address inequality, exclusion, and work on healing our damaged planet. But to transform the world, education needs to be transformed. UNESCO launched its Futures of Education initiative to bring the world together to reimagine how education can shape the future. Despite the urgency of action and in conditions of great uncertainty, we have reason to be full of hope. Education can help us make a peaceful, just, and sustainable world. For this, we need to renew education by asking, what that we do now should be continued, what should be abandoned, and what needs to be invented afresh. A new social contract for education needs to be built. Collectively, we must strengthen education as a global common good. Let's all work together in our communities and across the world to ensure that education best supports our shared futures.
We are here with you today to share our experiences and our perspectives and to contribute meaningfully to our shared future in education.
This is what is going to be in our agenda today.
And let's begin by introducing ourselves. I'm Fenia Kouvara. I live and work in Thessaloniki. I've been teaching English for almost 30 years now, and 25 of those years I've done it here at Planet English School, together with Argyro Partzalidou. I consider myself to be an edupreneur. I teach, I run a business, and I never stop learning. I love traveling, music, discovering new places and new ideas. And one of those discoveries, believe it or not, happened at the TESOL event. Thanks to Efi Kirikaki, who is with us today, and later to her NLP courses, I began a journey of personal and professional transformation. It is on those courses that I met Sophia, and that's when amazing things started to happen. I'm very happy to be here today to share a little bit of that journey with you.
And I am Sofia Taiganidou. I live in Yanitsa, and I think I have been born to become a teacher. My first student was Poor Dimitris, a classmate of mine at elementary school back at the age of 11. Today, I run my own school, Life Lab Diadrasi, and I deliver life coaching sessions to parents, teachers, and students. I proudly consider myself to be a citizen of the world, as one of my great passions is traveling. I believe that when I meet new people and when I discover new places, I grow and I become a better educator. A recent example is our visit to Bed in London in January 2025, where Fenya and I met very interesting people and discovered new ways to apply our old practices.
Today, we are here to reimagine our future in education together. What will our students need to survive in the future? Before we dive into this future, let's hear from you. Can you please scan this QR code using your mobile devices or join at slido.com using the code that appears here and answer this very simple question. What are today's students like? You can use adjectives or you can use phrases, whatever you want. We'll give you a couple of minutes. I believe that the results are starting to appear on our screens. Disconnected, unmotivated, disengaged, yes. Inquisitive, pathetic, stressed, motivated. You can use positive ones as well. Curious, clever, nice. Disinterested if not engaged, very nice. Instagrammable. Haven't thought of that. Yes. Nice. So as this continues to evolve, we see that 3 dominate the board: disengaged, disconnected, and busy, right? We will share what students at our schools, Planet English School and Life Lab Diadrasi, have shared with us. They observed in their classrooms. More or less, you mentioned everything. Students today are considered digital natives, but this title needs a closer look. They are excellent at what they're interested in. They master TikTok, they master Instagram, as you said, Instagrammable, they master YouTube, they edit videos and photos with skill. They type incredibly fast on their phones, I'm sure you have all observed that, but they often struggle with simple digital tasks, like organizing files in Google Drive, or using Word or Excel, or even remembering their own email passwords. Evaluating the reliability of what they read without filtering it is out of the questions, and using AI tools requires a bit more responsibility. So they are not true digital natives, they are selective digital natives. They embrace only the digital tools that fit their interests, and they ignore the rest.
And you know, this selectivity gives us, as teachers, the impression that the students are disengaged, which is not the whole story. It's more than that. Their schedules are packed. They rush from one extracurricular activity to another. They get distracted very easily. Their little time is spent on their phones, which they associate it with relaxation. They get emotionally distracted despite their need to be seen, to be heard, to be understood. They are inquisitive. They start asking questions that never stop. And they learn by doing, by watching, by listening. What is more distracting for us, more annoying, is they often struggle with the value of traditional studying in this digital world.
And of course, they are reward-driven. They are motivated by challenges. They need immediate feedback to stay engaged, and they learn best when they feel that their efforts have real meaning and visible results. And the bonus fun fact, AI training, especially when using a method called reinforcement learning, uses the same reward system, and it plays a key role in the way that the AIs are trained.
And this brings us to today's diverse classroom. And when we talk about diversity, we don't just refer to the mixed ability classrooms, we also mean mixed personality classrooms. A learning environment where we have a learning environment where different personalities, different learning styles need to coexist. We have the fully focused students that need to cooperate with the easily distracted students. And we have the ones that need to be emotionally invested in order to learn with those who are naturally motivated. And therefore, we, teachers, need to employ multiple modality techniques in order to facilitate the learning in this ever-changing world, which is also unpredictable.
Yes, exactly, Sophia. And here are some of the changes that we expect to observe. These two images come from the World Economic Forum, the Future of Jobs report in 2025. The first one on the right shows the top core skills workers need today, like analytical thinking and flexibility and leadership. The second image, which is very interesting, shows which skills are becoming even more important in the years ahead. You can see that even if the tech skills dominating the top three positions become more important, human skills like curiosity, empathy, and teamwork remain essential. And why is this important? Because nearly half of the skills that we use today will have changed by 2030. And this means that our students will need to be ready to keep learning and adapting. And it is not just about knowing facts. It's about thinking, creating, and solving problems, as well as working with technology. We have just described the gap between where we are now and where we need to go. We are in what Dan Fitzpatrick calls, in his book, the liminal space. We navigate towards a new reality. So our job is to help our students build both the knowledge and the mindset they will need in order to succeed in a fast-changing world. And we Greeks know that better than anybody else, because as Heraclitus said way back, the only constant in life is change. Education is evolving, and so are the expectations of what the future looks like. According to Dr. Christine Kumbi and Dr. Elana Hassad's research, there are 7 essential elements of the classrooms of tomorrow, and these elements are shaping our learning environments. We could talk about all of these, we would need hours, but today we are going to focus on the 2 most important ones, new technologies and AI, and well-being in the classroom environment. And as these two ladies very cleverly observe in their research, the classrooms of tomorrow will not only be about what students learn, but how they grow as individuals, connect with others, and engage in the world around them. And this brings us to a very interesting story that I read in Dan Fitzpatrick's book.
Once upon a time, an old man ambled wearily home one dusky evening. He spotted a curious glow in the grass. Bending down, he found a frog adorned with a tiny golden crown. Surprised and curious, he picked up the frog. To his amazement, the frog spoke, "Please, help me. I am a wealthy princess cursed by an evil magician. A kiss from you can break the spell, and then we can live together, rich and with many children." The man paused. Finally, he placed the frog into his pocket and continued walking. "What are you doing?" shouted the frog. The old man responded, "At my age, I'd rather have a talking frog."
Have you ever found yourself clinging to the familiar, even when the potential of transformation is just ahead of you? These all-man's choices reflect our dilemma with artificial intelligence in schools. Are we distracted by the novelty of talking AIs, missing the fundamental transformation that they offer? AI is not a toy. It is a wake-up call for education. We can cling to the familiar, or we can embrace the future. Will we seize the opportunity, or will we simply put it in our pocket? OpenAI's CEO, Sam Altman, writes, "Our children will have virtual tutors who can provide personalized instruction in any subject, in any language, and at whatever pace they need." We are getting there already, and I am sure that most of you are familiar with platforms using AI to personalize learning for students, or others that give feedback and correct written work, or even AI assistants who have been launched by well-known companies, and they help our students practice their speaking skills, at a cost, of course. And all this can be very easily done for free. How? If we know how to prompt engineer, how to give our students, how to guide them and give them the correct instructions, first by training ourselves. You have just heard the story read aloud by Gwyneth Paltrow, the famous actress, using AI, of course. I have personally used ChatGPT to correct my students' C2 written essays last May, when there was a lot of them to correct and I was at a loss. So I used my friend ChatGPT. I have used ChatGPT in this presentation as well to help me correct the essays. There are many more ways free AI technology can help us in our everyday tasks. I am here to help you if you want. Things have changed, and things will continue to change for us with the AI evolution. Will teachers become obsolete? Will robots replace us? It is true that while robots show immense potential, there are different areas where the human element remains irreplaceable. Teachers bring empathy, creativity, and adaptability to the classroom, qualities that are still very difficult to replicate in robots. Robots might be great at delivering pre-programmed lessons, but it takes a human teacher to recognize when the student is struggling, when the student needs encouragement, or is ready for a more challenging task. And Sophia is going to illustrate that in a few moments. Dr. Kamar said in his podcast that robots will not replace teachers, they will empower them. And as you can see in this very interesting sketch here, we will always be relevant because we need to guide our students. AI today can be seen as the evolution of the traditional search engine. Instead of Googling something, we now interact with large language models, LLMs, like ChatGPT or Gemini. Unlike the search engine that simply gave us a list of websites and we had to go through them, an LLM combines, analyzes, and filters the information, and it delivers us with the best possible outcome. Looking ahead, the holy grail of AI is AGI, which is artificial general intelligence. AGI will go beyond mimicking human intelligence. It will have the ability to reason, to learn, and to generate new knowledge for us on its own. It is not out there yet. Predictions vary, and many experts believe that AGI would become a reality within the next 5 to 10, others say 10, others say 20 years, it depends. But one thing is for sure, CEO of DeepMind, Google's DeepMind, says that AGI is coming, society is not ready, and it is what keeps him up at night. He warned us that it's coming faster than we are ready, and he stressed the urgency and the need to prepare for profound ethical, social, and economic changes that this is going to bring. AI now is like a toddler. We are the generation that gets to parent it, to guide it towards maturity. And as we shape AI, we shape ourselves. Every generation panics about new technology. Even Socrates warned that the written word can have dire consequences for our memory and our face-to-face conversation. We are just the latest generation to freak out. Do not fight with the future, because fighting with the future will not bring back the past. We need to help our students to courageously walk into this future together by getting involved in the tech that they love. A project that can illustrate that, and a project that I'm really proud about, is our student podcast, Generation Z to A. It started with a simple conversation about how we could engage our students in a more meaningful and fresh way using technology with purpose. We wanted to give students a real voice, a space to express themselves, share their thoughts, and connect with others. So Generation Gen Z to A was born, a project built on teamwork, creativity, and the belief that learning should feel real and inspiring. And what makes this even more special for us is that it's a collaboration between 4 schools: our Planet English School, Xenia Maglousidis School, Dimitra Ponis Smartup, and of course Sophia's Life Lab Diadrasi, bringing together different perspectives and experiences and setting a powerful example for our students on what true collaboration looks like. Through this podcast, our students explore the ideas, they discuss real-world issues, they take full ownership of this process, they plan, they record, they edit, they upload their episodes, and in doing so, they're not just practicing the language we're teaching them, they're not just practicing English, they are developing real-world skills like collaboration, critical thinking, creativity, digital literacy, skills that they will carry into the future. You can scan this QR code and get some information, maybe listen to a couple of episodes, maybe get your students involved in our podcast. We would be more than happy to hear from you. And since we introduced our students to podcasts, I also began creating educational content myself using a tool called Brisk Teaching. The process is really simple, but it's very powerful. I select an article that might be challenging for my students. And by using Brisk Teaching Chrome extension, this one, I can instantly transform the text into a podcast just by pressing a couple of buttons. This approach caters to the needs of auditory learners, making complex content more accessible and engaging. Let's have a look at an example together. I came across this article. Can you see the
Yes.
Thank you. I came across this article by The Guardian. It was about doom scrolling and brain rot, the Oxford Word of the Year, which I'm really interested in, a topic, and I really wanted my senior students to read this article. However, it contained some pretty challenging vocabulary for them, as you can see on my screen. So I just pressed the brisk button. If you install the Chrome extension, this button appears here and at the bottom of my screen. This opens up. I have many different ways I can use this article. I can create a quiz, I can create a test, a lesson plan, a presentation even. I just press the button and it's ready. But what I want you to watch today with me is how we can create a podcast. I simply press podcast. It gives me the selection of the minutes. How long do I want it to be? Let's take this one, which one? It's the standard. And then I can select what the level of difficulty is going to be. For my senior students, it was about 6th or let's say 7th grade. I simply press this button. It opens up in a new tab and it begins to create the podcast. Even before it's finished, I can just preview it.
Hey everyone, welcome to our podcast. I'm Sophia, and today we're talking about something pretty interesting, how technology might be changing our brains.
That's right, Sophia. I'm Jamal, and we're going to explore this idea of brain rot. It sounds kind of gross, but it's actually a term that describes how our brains might be affected by...
You get the idea. If you create your own account, you can have access to the whole, to your whole history of podcasts. You can share them with your students. You can create different activities. You can use ChatGPT to create some questions with this podcast. The possibilities are limitless. So if AI can easily handle such tasks for us, young people will need to master the art of asking the right questions and not just finding answers. They will need to think critically, seek out meaning, and tap into their creativity. And this is our responsibility as well. We will need to become prompt engineers. The quality of their answer that we're going to ask GPT or whatever engine we use will be I cannot see it, will depend on the quality of the question. And this is what makes good prompt engineering. For example, I can type in the prompt, write a story, and it's going to produce a very nice and a basic result. But instead of writing, create a story, if I write a story, inspiring one, about a young girl who overcomes a challenge to win a race and you use vivid language and do this, and I want it at this level, and I want you to write it as a student, or I want you to write it as, I don't know, Dalai Lama, or whatever, the output is going to become more richer, more meaningful, and it's going to be much closer to what we envisioned and what we need. And another example, to help my students practice English in a fun and creative way, I asked my good old friend ChatGPT to create a prompt library, give me some prompts that I can offer my students so they will use AI technology wisely. It created the list, we talked about it, I made some changes, it adapted, and then it asked if I wanted a poster. And I said yes, and this is the poster that it created for me. It's divided into different categories using different colors, explaining grammar, fixing mistakes, creating stories, role-playing in real-life situations like ordering pizza and traveling to London, an excellent speaking practice with your students. And this idea was one of the many that I use in my classroom every day. We need to give clear and detailed prompts. Knowing how to ask better questions is becoming an essential skill in today's classrooms. And prompt engineering is a topic worthy of another training, which I would be more than happy to organize for you. Thank you.
Well, Fenya, I will be the first one to register in these prompt engineering courses of yours. Xenia will be the second, okay? So far, Fenya has presented some really essential points that will help us align our teaching practices with our students' interests. She emphasized the urgency of not just carrying technology in our pockets, but actually using the tools our students love, if we want our selective digital natives to make good use of the opportunities that are laid at their feet. Well, first, why not use everything that is out there waiting for us? As you can see on the screen, we used all these applications and material for our presentation today. And it was not only brisk teaching. So we can do that, or we can tap into our students' creative thinking, curiosity, leadership, and create our own podcast. By setting aside our fears of inadequacy, this constant talk of the imposter in our minds, and by being flexible, we can teach them how to use AI effectively, and how to become prompt engineers themselves if we become first. And in the end, this is what has always been our reality. It's this deep sense of responsibility we teachers have towards our students. And it's this unwavering integrity that all open-minded educators all over the world have. And this is the reason that is behind what happened at my school. Well, let me tell you a story. It's late at night, and almost everybody has left. The school assistant has gone home. I can still hear the soft hum of the voices coming from the end of the corridor, and actually it's from this classroom. And the teacher and the students are finishing their last lesson. Oh, when a mother comes uninvited, without warning, out of the blue, finds me among a pile of books, unfinished lesson plans, trying to find some creativity, some more creative ideas out of my tired brain. And I can see that she is troubled. She has this familiar look at her face when parents want to tell us something that worries them. So I stop everything and I'm all ears. And she starts explaining what happened at school. She talks about a game children play at the yard. And she said softly, they call it a game, but my son says it's nothing but fun. She explains that the children stand in a circle at the yard. One child is chosen, is pushed forward, and another one is supposed to catch him by forming his hand in a seat. And when the children push the child towards the person who's supposed to catch him, this person steps back. There is no safe landing. The child falls. And what is worse, the others are starting shoving him harder, laughing. Some even hit or kick the person. So one of them was actually badly hurt. The principal found out. No one else got wind of that. No parents, teachers, or other students. It's cruel. It's not a game. It's bullying wrapped up as play. This mother was really worried that her son told her that no one wants to be part of this game, but they all feel they have to. They don't dare to stand outside the circle because they are afraid they might be the next target. So, what is our responsibility here? When she describes all this situation, when she shares her feeling with me, her words, well, nestled in my chest, it's this familiar mix of frustration and responsibility we teachers often have when we catch a glimpse of this invisible battle our students are fighting. And that was the point that shifted everything for me. That was the moment that changed my lesson plans. From that night on, the focus wasn't just on grammar and structure. The focus became values, helping our students to become self-aware, to recognize and name their emotions, teaching them how to deal with difficult situations, supporting them as they learn to become assertive yet kind, to set boundaries that will protect themselves and their fellow students, to become active listeners. We still teach grammar, we still care about structure, but now we use the language as a tool to meet their needs, their need to be heard, to be understood and seen, the need to grow as students, not only as students, the need to grow as human beings. Because at the end of the day, it's not only about speaking English or using technology, it's about learning how to stand up, not just on their feet, but for themselves and for the others. Of course, we started the change with this group that of the previously mentioned travel student. He's in B1 level, in a mixed personality group of 9 people, half of whom lack confidence, and are unaware of their abilities. Their teacher, Harula, really has difficulty in trying to participate in the classroom. But we always try to find ways to make it better. This time, we decided instead of teaching the second conditional the way our book has, which is a wonderful book, very well organized, we needed to change things. So, though, we created a lesson on empathy and respect. We wanted our students to understand bullying from different perspectives. And we had to be thorough and brief with the rules because the reluctant students, the ones who were afraid to share their opinion, to open their mouth, rarely participate, and teaching grammar to them makes it a nightmare, both for them and us. So to get an idea, I'm going to show you parts of the PowerPoint that we did in that on that day. First, in this PowerPoint, we presented a picture, an image, and a thought-provoking statement. We wanted to set the scene, and we wanted some silent reflection. We didn't say anything. We asked them to observe and reflect on what they see. This was a bit awkward because they are not used into not saying anything, not anybody speaking. They are not used in silence, to silence. They want somebody to speak. But silence allows space for thinking. And after some moments, some students started writing. When some other students started sharing their thoughts, the others followed, mirroring their classmates. No comment, no correction on the part of the teacher. We only thanked the students for sharing their ideas. In the second slide, we asked them to produce language with the grammatical phenomenon we had in mind, using the prompts. Still no corrections. We waited. The protagonists are the students. In the third slide, we started the grammar analysis. In an inductive way, we asked them to share their opinion. We formed the rule together. And when we gave the usage in the next slide, we used a circular design to divide it into 3 different parts, and we used different wording. We avoid using negative words in the classroom, so we didn't want to say we use a second conditional for unreal situations. We replaced it with imaginary situations, and we used words that they like dreams, imagine, advice. So they connected the second conditional with their experience. And having in mind the confident student, we used words like envision outcomes, create scenarios, and offer solutions, so that to offer some kind of challenge for the confident ones too. And we couldn't omit our highly common errors as we as Greeks make. I use simple past. Instead of using simple past, we use the future symbol, so we had to pinpoint that. We use the color coding. They noticed on their own. We didn't have to explain that. This helped them actually remember and memorize the rules. And then it was time for the guided practice. What we did here is we offered the topic, we present the topic, online bullying, physical bullying, and the teacher's involvement. We asked them to make some example sentences using the formula. We wanted them to use it correctly, of course, so we offered the sentence starters for them. And this was the starting point for the role play that followed. But of course, we now want something more, not just their role play. So we ask them to share what they say during their role play. So we call it think, pair, share, because by sharing your ideas, you make sure that you were an active listener. They share the idea of their partner and not what they said. And it is a better way to communicate. We gave them the roles of the role play in a design, again, a form of a triangle, the victim on the top and mender on the bottom. Of course, we had to give them a useful language. We have all these reluctant students in our mind using the color code without us explaining anything. They used all of them. The most reluctant ones still needed some help, so we had predicted that, and we had the example dialogue in our mind. By the end of this activity, we were so happy that everybody used the formula correct. And we also use the anchor of the same picture, the activity. All the slides of the same activity have the same picture throughout. So they knew that when we moved on to the next slide with a different picture, that we had different activity. The last activity of the lesson was the empathy circle, inspired by life coaching tasks and techniques. We asked the students to form two groups out of 5-6 people. For us, it was 4 the one group and 5 the other. And they pick a role. We have in a box cards with their roles. So they pick one card with their role, victim, bully, bystander, etc. And they pick from another box. There are scenario cards, like the one you see in front of you. And we give them a couple of minutes to identify the personality, to create the personality of their roles. Again, they had a problem creating the personality because it is a challenge for them to start analyzing the character of somebody or create one, since they are not they don't understand, they don't recognize, they can't communicate their own feelings. So we provided questions for them to identify each role. This took some time. It was the longest part of the lesson, actually. We didn't give answers. We insisted on them finding the answers. So this took time. And the next part was to also give them useful language to create the sentences they wanted. We asked them to note down the ones they chose. The lesson was over, so we couldn't finish this activity. What we did, we asked them to learn everything, and we started the next lesson with the empathy circle. This time was successful. They were more willing to participate. They knew what to expect, and they were ready. Everybody participated. And this was very, very validating. By observing our students' struggles to express their feelings, their thoughts, we were validated in our decision to change. our lesson plans, to shift from grammar and structure to values. It was the right decision. And from that moment on, we knew we had to organize and plan everything from a new perspective. Our students need to be taught how to set goals, how to recognize and name their emotions, and we need to listen to their parents. We will be helped tremendously if we listen to the parents and if we observe our students' interests. We need to collaborate both with parents and students and with other teachers, with everybody on this planet, in order to create a new learning experience for our students. It is something that we cannot just skip. We have to help them through this journey. And I would be very happy to guide you through this in another seminar, because the future of our education is not predetermined. It's something that we are all shaping together.
Our voice matters. So we all need to stay informed, to ask questions, and engage in discussions about how we can best leverage the technology to create a more engaging educational experience for all our learners. And we can even start now. As Anne Frank said many years ago, how wonderful it is that no one has to wait even a minute to start gradually changing the world. We are at the beginning of a new exciting journey. Let's see where this journey leads us. We need to keep exploring, keep learning, and keep imagining the possibilities. These QR codes are our virtual cards. You can see our emails here in case you have any more questions or you need to be in touch with us. Here is our inspiration and the references we used in this talk.
And now it's your turn to complete the session by sharing with us if what you expected was what you've heard. The floor is...
Have any questions for us?
Thank you so much. And could I please invite everybody to unmute themselves now so that we can chat? Thank you so much, Sophia and Fenya, for the inspiration and for your hard work.
Thank you for having us. We really hope that you got some interesting ideas today and some things that you can actually start implementing even right now, tomorrow. In case you have any more questions and you need any information, please feel free to tell us, ask us.
In fact, I wanted to discuss something it was one of the points on my card when you told us to brainstorm what our expectations were. The other day, somebody shared, I think Mona was part of that discussion as well on Facebook. Somebody shared that Gates said that by 2050, I think, there will be no doctors and no teachers.
Yeah.
And I replied in a funny way, in my opinion, there will be no Gates by 2050.
I think I saw that, yes.
Shall we discuss that? Because, we all know the story back in the 1960s, 70s, when linguaphone first appeared. People were very, very strongly against it. And they were like, that cassette recorder, what cassette recorder? The small 45 disc is going to replace teachers. And it didn't. And it was not language as we know it and as we teach it. Are we in that danger now?
Personally, I do not think so. The same thing happened with the appearance of the internet in our lives back then. When the internet came, everybody said, well, okay, all the information is here. We can start looking things up. We're not going to need the teachers. We're not going to need anything. But the point is that we do need someone to teach us, not only about the emotional part, which Sophia can elaborate on, but as I said before, in order to get the right answers, we need to ask the right questions. Now, things might be a lot different when this AGI comes, because it's supposed to be an entity of its own, and it's not going to need us. They're training it right now in order to think without the human factor. But we are a long way from that. And I personally think that the robots and machines and anything cannot replace what we do, cannot give this feeling that we give into our lessons.
I totally agree. Sophia?
Yes, I share exactly the same view. It's impossible to happen otherwise. We need to be emotionally invested in order to learn. That we are not machines. We need a hug, guys. We need rapport. We need human touch.
We need to socialize with others. We cannot just sit in front of the machine and learn by the machine, or have the robot that I saw teaching me, because I need the touch, I need the hug, I need the people around me.
And we need the human intelligence.
Exactly.
There are so many times when the student looks at us in this very bemused way, like, and we say, it's not this, it's that, and they go like, Miss, how did you know that I was confused?
Exactly, that's it.
And you need human empathy to understand what is wrong. Mona, I'm sorry, I spoke out of turn. You had your hand.
You're not letting me talk.
No, you do that all the time.
I think it was just very, very refreshing session. I think there's so much to say about it. Even though I'm not teaching at the moment, but I often hear people saying, "Oh, we have to finish the book. We have to finish the book." And I think it's and going back to what our teenagers like these days, coming back to that question at the beginning. And I think that this is what needs to be done in classrooms to keep our teenagers engaged, and they want to be heard, and they want to be a part of, to show their emotions, and they want to be heard, basically, above all. And so doing something outside the book, like projects, I hear that so many times in my job when I'm presenting books, that we don't have time for projects, and we don't have time for this, and we don't have time for that. So, I think this is just really magical what was presented today, and it just proves the point of how important it is to step out of the book a bit, or extend the book, or extend the topic in a different way. So thank you, Sophia and Fenya. That was great. Thank you.
Thank you, Mona, for making that point. And I think it was very useful that you mentioned, Fenya, how against different types of technology our own civilization has been over the centuries.
Exactly.
The copiers of the manuscripts in the monasteries were the first to be against printing, because it was their uniqueness and livelihood that was at stake, and they knew it. But there is more to AI than what meets the eye. That rhymed. I wasn't intending it. Thank you so much. Yeah, of course.
Can I say something, please? Well, first of all, girls, congrats on your excellent presentation. You were awesome, both of you. Yesterday, I had a group of proficiency students having a mock examination in my school. And one of them started having this, over-stressing situation. And he left school and he went back home and he started vomiting and having stuff. And so what he did was he typed on the ChatGPT, how can I deal with stress and stuff like that? And then next day, on Saturday, we had our next mock exam. And he came at school and told me, well, I typed on the ChatGPT, what should I do? And then I realized that what I needed was your hug.
Oh, very nice.
See? And then I just hugged him and I said, okay, so now you have the answer. And so this is, technology is a great tool. Fenya actually excellently reflected on everything. But being there for the student, having the wisdom that the machine doesn't have, and the emotion that the machine cannot have, let's say for now, okay, I think will be why the teachers need to, still be around.
Exactly. We shouldn't be afraid of it. We need to embrace it, to put it in our classrooms, to openly show our students how to use it and benefit from it, and not just copy and paste. That's the worst thing that they can do. We can be the ones. I mean, I openly tell them, yes, I used ChatGPT to do this for you today. And they are very surprised. And really? Yes, really. You're not the only ones. You get to use it. And if we show them the right way to do it, then things will be easier for them. And I'm sure that you can all admit that things and changes start from our schools, from language schools, not the public schools. So it's something that we should really start doing now, everyone.
In public schools, some teachers are still afraid of the interactive whiteboard. So we don't have much to, unfortunately, one of my students imitated. He said, Miss, can I switch on the whiteboard? And I said, why? I want to show you what our teacher does. And he pressed the button and left. So we don't have much support from that domain. It is us or
Exactly.
the wrong models that they may
TikTok.
get.
Or TikTok. They get it from TikTok. So yeah, probably best if they get it from us.
Or we can be on TikTok as well. Thank you so much for being here this afternoon. A happy May to all. Best of luck to all our students. And let's hope that when we meet again in June, we will have only success stories to share. Bye-bye. Thank you, Fenya.
Thank you.
Sophia.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
May I say something very quickly? No.
Yes, of
Yes.
course.
Congratulations to both of you on the inspiring speech. And I would like to say that at the beginning, what I thought of was mentioned in your speeches. I thought of skills, and I saw exactly what I thought about.
Really?
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Fimia. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Bye.